Chris
All right.
Stefanovich.
We have got the, are we good? Now that I just made this very awkward, this is the HVAC Overtime show, guys. I was looking down at the screen and I noticed that this is episode 46 already. That's kind of crazy. I think it's been 46 episodes. Tonight we have a very special guest, and then we also have a host that's missing from the show that will be here very soon, hopefully.
Wait.
There we go.
There he is.
There he is.
Wait, Bill.
Look at that. Bill is back.
Unplug your mic and plug it back in again.
So tonight we have a very special guest. We have Mr. Jim Bergman. Jim, I think everybody knows Mr. Jim Bergman, but Jim is from MeasureQuick, and he's going to be our guest. We're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff with that, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. So how are you doing today, Jim?
Not too bad. Hold my own. It's been a busy couple weeks, man. We've been doing a lot of programming, getting ready for a new release of MeasureQuick, another big substantial update. So those tend to keep us busy right down to the wire, it seems like.
Oh, that's crazy. It's definitely been an interesting year at that. I'm sure we can all agree to that. Lots of interesting stuff going on. Bill, how you doing today?
Man, I smell like underneath of a cooler, and I feel like I just crawled out from underneath of a cooler.
So you've been working in restaurants today then, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. Joe, how you doing today?
Not bad. Can't complain.
Adam?
I'm alive. You know.
See, I think I'm making you guys all talk. There we go. See
what happens. See what happens when I'm not here. When we don't get together before the show and get all this energy worked out and all this sarcasm put to rest before the show. Everything's just off the rails. By the way, Jim, how you doing?
Good. It's
good.
No complaints.
Good. Well, after the show, I'm sure you'll have a couple, but that'll be different.
He's gonna have the whiteboard up there that says "No to never again."
Unfriend Curious HVAC guy. Say no to the overtime guys.
Is that macaroni in your beard?
Macaroni? No, not today.
You braided it. What do you have your beard braided over there?
Heck yeah.
You work
Are
like
you
that,
from California, dude? Come on. I think you should
see.
over here.
Now that they've made masks mandate, I figure it looks a little cooler to have it sort of tied up like this,
like a backwards ponytail.
Yeah. I so wish I could have a real ponytail or even a mullet, just something. But
I need to pull up some pictures because I do have some pictures when I was a kid, and I did have a legit mullet. Like that was the style I had. Yeah, it was full on. So
you know, I want to pump the brakes on, guys. I want to pump the brakes on something. Did you guys hear Jim said he's working on something? And you know, when Jim says he's working on something, it's probably something good.
Okay.
So I want to know, what's he working on?
Let's jump right in.
Updates?
The new updates, yes.
Yeah, so we were bugging Testo for the last, I guess 2 years, maybe 3 years now, to incorporate the Testo 550 and the 557 manifolds into MeasureQuick.
Nice.
And yeah, because there's probably, there's tens of thousands of those out there. And
yeah, I'm still rocking the 550s.
Yeah, and if people, I mean, they're, it's interesting when you get into different tools. You know, people are like diehard field piece or diehard Testo, and they got just certain tools they like. And so we've had a lot of requests over the years for the Testo 557 and 550. But it's almost like Testo got a new tool. In fact, nobody's seen this yet because I'm actually doing the final testing on it right now.
This is the world release, not announced anywhere.
Yeah,
first on the Overtime channel.
So we actually I don't know if the Testo 557 and 550 both have the wired temperature probes, and so like Testo has two apps. They have a refrigeration app and a smart probe app, but in MeasureQuick we can combine those two tools together. So now we got the Testo 550 and 557 are effectively wireless on the temp clamps, which is really slick and opens up a lot more possibilities. So,
that's awesome.
That's definitely going to make a lot of people happy that felt like they were losing out when MeasureQuick came out, and at the time it didn't work with that particular Testo manifold, and a lot of people are probably not going to feel so left out anymore. And the fact that they might have smart probes too, the Testo smart probes, and now they're going to be able to use everything in conjunction. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it works extremely well. I was actually sort of shocked because there's advantages and disadvantages to different technologies. So some of the probe manufacturers Beacon and then like Testo, they're direct connect. The disadvantage to direct connect is you only can have about 7 or 8 probes on, but the advantage to it is the throughput is way higher. So these things read at like 4 times a second, which is, for Bluetooth tools is pretty crazy. I mean, they're really, really responsive. It may be faster than that. It's literally as fast as your Bluetooth can communicate. So when you're watching the gauges and stuff, or if you're messing with like a pressure control or something, it's really, it's right there. It's almost immediate. So I think it's going to be helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we kind of talked about this before the show started, but that is going to be cool on the refrigeration side. Something that we deal with a lot is setting pressure controls. And if, something we talked about before the show was, some people like to set a pressure control with a pump or, down in the van, but sometimes it's not practical. And sometimes you have to use your manifold set. And I find myself right now with the probes that I use where I will oftentimes have to go get a compound gauge, just like a stubby gauge or something, trying to set pressure control. So it sounds like the Testo setup might be a little bit better for testing those and setting them maybe.
Yeah. And the other thing we do that's unique, especially for you guys that do refrigeration, is a lot of people are, when they first look at MeasureQuick, they're going to say, oh, the dew point and bubble point don't match up. And it's because we don't show dew point and bubble point on our, on the gauge set. We actually show the weighted center of the glide.
So the mid, right?
There's 2 ways of doing it. So one is midpoint, and usually do midpoint on the condenser. But on the evaporator, when the refrigerant goes to the metering device, it's actually like you have to. I think it's like 0.3 times the 0.3 times the dew point plus 0.7 times the bubble point. And then that gives you it's a weighted center of the glide, because you get a lot of flash gas and you go to the metering device and you lose a larger portion of the first refrigerant. So we actually show average coil temperature, and which is what MeasureQuick calculates. When you're looking at those targets on MeasureQuick, it's actually average coil temperature that we're calculating. So on a pure refrigerant, it's obviously the saturation temperature is a saturation temperature, but on a blend, depending on how far the glide is, how much glide there is, the average coil temperature can actually be pretty different from top to bottom of the coil. So we switched it over to calculate average coil temperature maybe a year ago or so. And every once in a while I get somebody call and tell me that our gauge doesn't work right, and I have to explain to them what, midpoint and average temperature of coil and what it does. But if you're doing anybody that's concerned with humidity or, obviously, like with refrigeration, your evaporator temperature is really important, because you don't want to dehumidify your lettuce.
Right.
So it makes a big difference. And that's one of the cool things. So we still obviously calculate superheat and subcooling with, bubble point and dew point, but we calculate the midpoint of the temperature on the gauges. So it's a little bit different, but it's very, very handy for a lot of applications.
That is awesome.
That's a very specific way to do it.
Yeah. It's the right way.
But yeah, I was going to say it is a very scientific way, but the more blends that we start using, the more scientific we have to get to be doing things more accurately. And blends are very confusing for a lot of people too.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason we did it, because with MeasureQuick, we're always calculating the high and the low targets on the pressure gauges. So when you go with a blend, you got to have the middle of the coil temperature. Otherwise, you can't nail the targets, because that's what we're looking at design temperature differences of the coil. So, a lot of people don't understand how MeasureQuick works, but, I don't know if you're, Chris, I don't know if you're old enough or not to remember when Sporlan used to have on their temperature pressure charts, the fold up ones you carried in your wallet. It would tell you the design temperature difference for different boxes. So, like a meat cooler would be a DTD of 10. And then, so that's actually one of the things that drove MeasureQuick was I started seeing all these DTDs, and then I realized, they can probably do the same thing for air conditioning. And sure as heck they do. The reason that refrigeration guys know DTD is obviously, for the type of box they're doing in humidity control, but also the air is fixed from the factory. That you can't really adjust the evaporator fan up or down. There's no duct system on it. Evaporator's hanging there, and it's all engineered. where, a air conditioning system is obviously built in the field. So the duct system has a huge impact on it. You can have different airflows and things like that. So the DTD is a little bit more complex on an air conditioner, and we can have oversized evaps that can affect the DTD. Then if you get off a nominal 400 CFM per ton, that affects the DTD. So there's just, it's a little bit more complex, but we do all the calculations in the background with MeasureQuick. So,
and that definitely helps. And, I wanted to address something too, and to kind of step back a little bit. One of the common things that I see people complaining about or arguing about, there's a lot of stubborn people in the industry, especially since, we have a large amount of what we would call old school technicians that are still in the trade, which have been holding our industry up for a very long time. But we get a lot of pushback when it comes to digital. And I still, believe it or not, I know you see it, Jim, but I still see people saying, digital, oh, that's just a waste of time. It's a waste of money. But I see these things as being great resources. And even coming from a business standpoint, when I have technicians working for me and we're out in the field, I think that digital is the best thing that, since sliced bread kind of a thing. And
I find it newfangled and scary.
Do you? See, I love it. I love the idea, but I understand how to read a compound manifold. Right. I understand how to use those. I understand how to calculate superheat subcooling. I don't think that digital is dumbing down the industry. I think that it's just putting more information at our fingertips and helping us to be able to diagnose easier in a way, right? Because by nature, I'm a lazy person in general. So if I can have all the information at my fingertips and I can diagnose, without having to really think too hard, but at the same time, understanding how to verify when something is inaccurate, because working with digital probes, sometimes, I maybe get a false reading. Do you have any comments on that, Jim?
I'll tell you exactly what the problem is. I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's the same reason we don't have digital speedometers in cars. If you guys remember, back in the 70s, 80s, they came out with all these digital speedometers, and they were very, very short-lived. Because when you're cruising down the highway, subconsciously, you don't ever look at your needle on your speedometer and go, oh, I'm going 66.2 miles per hour. You pretty much know where it's at subconsciously. If you're going 35, 45, 65, you can just glance down the speedometer. You don't really pay attention to the digits at all. You just know it's in the right range. And if you think about, I used to have gauges in my truck. I had them for R12, I had them for 22, and then I had a set for 410A. And if you think about where the saturation temperature is always lined up, they're always sort of like in the center of the gauge set. So if your evaporator was designed to have a 40-degree saturation temp on an R12 set of gauges, you had a gauge set that went from 0 to 80. Yeah. And, if you think about R22, it's about 68 pounds. The gauge went from, it's 40-degree saturation. The gauge went from 0 to 120, right? Mm-hmm. And so when an air conditioning system was operating at design, the needles were sort of straight up, right? So everybody just sort of, when they're charging a system, they knew if the needles were in a straight up, that everything was probably okay, right? Mm-hmm. And if the needle was really far down or really far up, something was wrong. But if you were to ask 100 guys in our industry today, before you hook up your gauges, what should the pressures be? And I don't mean about what they should be. Tell me exactly what they should be. Mm-hmm. And if you can't tell me exactly what the pressure should be, then you don't know what you're doing, right? Because if you think about if you think about, we get a temperature pressure chart, or you get a troubleshooting chart, and it's got, we all know an overcharge is going to give us, on a fixed orbit is going to give high suction pressure, low superheat, high head pressure, high subcooling. But if you don't know what the pressure should be, and you don't know what's high or low, you lost two the most important functions for diagnosing a overcharge on a system. And there's other things that can cause the superheat and the subcooling to be off. So you need more than two variables. Otherwise, you're just guessing. And that's what most of the industry does today. So when we took away the needle, that's part of the big reason we made analog gauge with MeasureQuick, is to bring the comfort factor back in. When we, if you guys remember, when we did iManifold, it was really, we were pioneering. The Bluetooth tools out there. And one of the things I sort of insisted on when I sat down with our programming team was like, dude, we got to have analog gauges. We got to figure out how to do this, because
that's the only way you're going to get the old school guys involved.
Well, and when you look at, it's just, psychologically, it's so much easier to look at indicators and see things that are in range than it is to look at a whole bunch of numbers flashed on a screen. You look at like some of the apps out there that are just a pile of numbers. All those numbers are changing all the time. Yep. Your brain can't pick up trends and see what the heck's going on there.
Right.
You look at it with the UI we have in user interface in MeasureQuick, where you got all these target zones. Immediately you can see what's in target, what's out of target, and immediately your brain goes right to things that you need to be looking at and ignoring things that are in range, and it makes the diagnostic process substantially easier.
Yeah.
So that's why, but I'm old enough to remember. I'll be 52 this year, and I'm old enough to remember when we switched over from analog meters, the Simpson meters, to
I have one.
Beckman's.
Right there.
and if you were alive then, you would have heard exactly the same thing. Those digitals are crap. I'd never own a digital meter. I trust my Simpson meter. Is it an 860? Is that what that is?
This is a 260. This is my dad. I've never used this, but this was my dad's Simpson 260.
Yeah. Bakelite. Yeah, those things were workhorses. But people used to say, like, when you tested a cap, we're watching for needle deflection. It was all these analog feels that you couldn't do with a digital.
Right.
So, those are the things when we look at, that's why people are hesitant to change, because we're taking away the tool that they use, even if it's subconsciously that they use to do their diagnostics. And now all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys remember when you got your first set of digital gauges, but you actually had to think.
Yeah.
It was like, holy crap, are these pressures right or not?
And in the very beginning, I remembered I'd bring them out sometimes, and I'd be like, I'll use the analogs on the next call, and I'd grab the analogs, and then it took time to slowly work the analogs off the truck. And now I have, multiple different, I have the Sporlan Smart tool. I have the Field Piece Job Link, and then the 380, which, correct me if I'm wrong, you recently brought in the 380V and the 480V Field Piece.
Those are on the development roadmap. We haven't brought them in yet.
Okay.
There's some challenges with that one. Specifically, voltage is on, if you think about where the off button's at, I think voltage is on one side, or amperage, and then wattage is on the far side. And so we measure voltage and amperage and power factor and wattage. We pull it all in at once on the Redfish meter. On the Field Piece, we got to rotate the knob to grab the grab the data. But if you go past off, it kills the Bluetooth. So they didn't leave the Bluetooth default on in the meter. Same thing Testo did. They figured, people are going to use it without the Bluetooth more than with. So you always got to, like, on your 550 and 557, you got to turn the Bluetooth on. And the same thing with the Field Piece meters, you got to turn the Bluetooth on. And so it's
I can't imagine
trying to make the user experience better.
I can't imagine the MeasureQuick app is going to do anything as far as the strength of the connectivity with the 550s, is it? I mean, you're still using your phone or your tablet or whatever you got. So
you're still using your phone or tablet. But the nice thing is Testo increased the range of the return and supplier sensor, increased the range of the pressure transducers, not on the 550, but they're and I think one other instrument they increased the range on. So the measurements you need outdoors, you can see out, without any problem at all. They're 350-foot range, easy. So, when you're out charging, condensing unit, you got all the outdoor readings and all the indoor readings right at your fingertips. And we built in capture buttons for everything, whether you're using Field Piece or Testo or UEI or whatever you want to use, because there's always going to be times where you can't get wireless range. Like where Chris is at, they got a lot of homes that are stucco, and they have that scrim, that wire scrim all the way around the house. Then they put on that stucco. And it's like you're in a Faraday cage.
Yeah.
And the only way you get a wireless signal out the window. So a lot of times you have to go in, just walk past the plane of the window. You can get a reading. You hit capture the reading, then go back outside and finish charging, then go back in and capture another set. So you don't have to go all the way to the attic necessarily, but sometimes you gotta, you at least got to get to a window or somewhere where you can get a reading. And it just depends on home construction stuff.
Now, I've read some stuff, and maybe you can comment on it, but how far out is Bluetooth repeatability? So being able to use repeaters with Bluetooth.
So Bluetooth 5.0 is out, and I actually was looking at doing some projects with 5.0 with MeasureQuick. And mesh technology is capable, and the radios can communicate. The phones in your phone is not Bluetooth 5.0 mesh networking capable yet.
Got it.
So, the technology's there, and we've had Bluetooth 5.0 for, I don't know, Android's had it first, then Apple got it. It's still in its infancy, and it's still not supported. So Zigbee is still the way to go if you really want repeatability. And, that's what we did with iManifold, which we did a Zigbee because, and it actually wasn't my idea to do Zigbee. It was actually, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a website called HVAC Pro Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I posted up there right before Tony Berlin died. I called Tony. I'm like, hey, can you put a post up, just giving your ultimate dream for your ultimate digital manifold set? And so all these guys got on there, and it was a huge post. It had over 100 pages on it. And I literally just took that set of posts and designed iManifold based upon the features the guys in the industry wanted, So it was really like a real industry tool at that time. And it was, some of the guys that were using Zigbee for like carrier thermostats and other stuff, they were familiar with it, that liked it. So that's how we got it in there originally.
So for those that don't know, real quick, the HVAC Talk message board, that's essentially what it was. It was a message board. It was kind of like a giant chat room. It had kind of like a Discord server for the new guys or something like that. And it had a bunch of different categories in it. And Facebook was out, but it was kind of not as popular yet. So the HVAC, it was called, it's still around, but it's not as popular, but it's HVAC-Talk.
Well, this is HVAC Pro Talk. This is actually a different Pro Technical form.
Oh, I was thinking Talk. I was thinking.
Yeah. You're thinking of HVAC Talk, which is owned by Contracting Business. That's still around.
That's what I was thinking you were talking about.
Okay. No. Different site.
No, I didn't follow that site then. So never mind. Shut my mouth.
So, Jim, real quick, we had a question in the chat getting back to the topic of where you were saying you were exploring the Bluetooth 5.0 for a MeasureQuick, future endeavor or whatnot. Somebody actually asked, are you ever going to work on MeasureQuick branded probes?
No, we're going to stay out of the hardware business. So, we're really good on the software side, and I do some consulting with companies like when they're, we work with like Subco I own Redfish also. So that's a company I bought when I left iManifold so I could get started back up doing this kind of work again because I bought the patent for that company, but I didn't want to distribute the hardware. So I reached out to Subco. They distribute the meters for us. And, we do some work with AccuTools on their Bluetooth stuff because both Subco and AccuTools, they didn't really want to get into designing their own apps. They didn't want to be in the app world. They wanted to make the hardware. And so we're working really closely with a lot of companies that are like that. And so we do consult on the hardware side because I want to make the user experience really good with MeasureQuick. So anything we can do on the hardware side to help people make better decisions when they're designing the tools, because people are just missing the boat. You know, a lot of the instrument manufacturers, they have great engineers that are really good with designing probes and tools and things, but these guys have never used any of this stuff. Dennis Cardinelli, AccuTools, guy's genius. I mean, absolute genius. He's never evacuated an air conditioning system in his life.
That's ironic.
But he's got a vacuum rig in his office, you know, that's got just basically a chamber, a reservoir, and all that kind of stuff. So he understands all the characteristics and nuances of vacuum, but he's never evacuated an air conditioner, you know. And this is the same thing with a lot of the companies out there, is these guys don't have the applications experience that we have. That's one of the reasons MeasureQuick is as good as it is, because we're focused on application. And, you know, so anything that manufacturers can do that we can help consult and make sure that they're making better instruments just makes a better user experience for MeasureQuick.
And on top of that too, if you don't have if the tool brand you're using doesn't have a specific like probe or whatever that you would like, and another brand does, it's very easy to mix and match with MeasureQuick.
Yeah, that's the other thing that was the whole concept behind doing this was you could cherry pick the probes you want, get the best probes for that do the best job. And then, you mix and match things like you said. And then, but also it's a lot of people don't understand, like when you're doing an air conditioning application and, like for a long time, field piece didn't have manometers, right? So when MeasureQuick, we're measuring obviously return and supply air and all the pressures and temperatures, but we're also measuring things like static pressure. We're measuring the volts and amps, so it's like, again, it comes down to, they're fixated on a single measurement or a single thing without understanding how the tools are going to be used all together. That's like the big challenge we have sometimes with Testo is you got a smart probes vertical, and then they got a refrigeration vertical, and the two teams design two really good products, but the products aren't compatible on their software. It's like it's like completely different because they had, two different R&D teams working, two completely separate verticals with no real correspondence between them on how this stuff was going to work.
That's interesting.
So, and that happens a lot. It happens a lot in big companies like that because it's just the nature of the beast.
They just don't make the connection between the two. Like it's just
same building.
They see it as two separate things, completely two separate things, when in actuality, we're all the same stuff,
Yep. Yeah. So that even happens with big, with even like control manufacturers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You get these bigger companies and they're just, like I said, they're really vertically integrated.
So I have a question, and I follow you on social media. I see a lot of the questions coming to you on social media, and even in our chat right now, some people are asking, hey, when is this feature going to come out? When are you going to work on multi-stage? When are you going to work on refrigeration mode? All these different things. I understand why, because I read your comments, but I mean, why are you not coming out with multi-stage today? Why are you not coming out with all these different things? I mean, what is slowing you down from that right now?
Well, I mean, the big thing is obviously programming does take a lot of time. I mean, people don't realize that when you design software like MeasureQuick, we can't just go to the store and pick up a gauge set and just pop it onto MeasureQuick and say, okay, here's our gauges, here's this. We literally have to design everything. I mean, every single element, where everything's placed, it's all got to be scalable. And so, the programming, when we've spent 4 years and millions of dollars programming MeasureQuick. And so we probably have a 2-year development roadmap of things that are, that we're going to add. And the roadmap has become extremely dynamic over time because, we really add the features on that are going to help pay the bills. Because, when you're doing this, you get, we're just now starting to monetize MeasureQuick in the last, 20 weeks, let's say, to the general public. Before, our primary customers have been like utility clients that are doing testing, or like Emerson, where they needed our app to work with their Sensi Predict so they could, commission it. So, those little projects have sort of made us a subsistence company. Now we're starting to monetize the work we're doing. But you got to look at, you can add the other thing is we want to keep a lot of this free, and the free features just don't add cash to the bottom line. And so sometimes we got to, when somebody wants us to do something, we got to look at, okay, where's this fit? Can we get it put in? Is it going to generate revenue or not? And we do a lot of stuff. I mean, we have over 31,000 users of MeasureQuick, and the majority of them are using the software for free. And we do all the support, we do all the videos, and we just got to, whenever you're doing something like this, just like all you guys, imagine going out and working, doing the majority of your work for free for everybody, just to make it a better industry, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That makes sense. I mean, you have to generate revenue, and I think a lot of us take for granted what this app that we can get off the App Store for free and use every single day. I mean, even I've used MeasureQuick for however many years it's been out, and I've never, up until now when you finally monetize it, nothing. I've never paid a single dime, and it has made me money every single day I use it.
Yeah,
so I think we forget that. Yeah,
a big part of, people don't realize that, that when you build an app, it does cost money. A lot of apps have advertising. I hate advertising. I don't even advertise on my YouTube videos. I can't stand watching a YouTube video and having an ad pop up. It just torques me off. I'm off there immediately if they have an ad on there. And then, they with the same thing with your app, I don't want ads running at the bottom of it, polluting MeasureQuick for what it is. And our programmers don't want that. But a big part of what we wanted to do was make a better industry because, I was a teacher for 12 years and I knew that if we could get this out there in the hands of people, that it was going to make their jobs better, their lives better. We could make a better industry. And then if I could get the base broad enough, then I only had to have a fraction of the people actually pay for services to support and make MeasureQuick actually work.
Right.
Right. And so, if you ever want to support MeasureQuick, just buy $20 worth of qubits on there, and you use them for streaming data someday, or adding your logos to your reports, or whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. That would actually help support the mission of what we're doing. But for the most part, we kept it free because it's just that's what we wanted to do.
So talk about the qubits, because someone actually just asked. So the question in the chat right now is, what is monetized about MeasureQuick? And it is the qubits. And essentially, talk about that. I don't want to butcher it.
Yeah. So qubits were we had to figure out a way to sell services, and Apple and Android, they want to take 30% of everything you make. And I just really wasn't fond of giving away 30% of our revenue to anybody. And so what we ended up doing was we made qubits, which you can buy on the website, and then you can use them. It's like a prepaid token you can use for services in the app. So the big thing that we charge for in the app is data storage. And so when you go out and commission a system, the first thing you do is you profile it, and profiling is like how you think it should work. So if you take like two 2-ton systems sitting side by side, you got, one that's got a 10-foot line set, one that's got a 100-foot line set, one's in the attic, one's on the basement, the same condenser, same evaporator, same air handler. One's got a little bit different duct system than the other. The two systems are going to run differently. So we're going to optimize both systems, and the profile is how we'd expect it to run, and it's pretty close. But then when we benchmark it, what we're doing is we're locking in the exact operations. We got it optimized, and we benchmark it, and we store that benchmark. So the idea behind MeasureQuick is we store that benchmark indefinitely. So anybody in your company can come out in the future and pull that benchmark back down. They don't have to fat finger in all the data again, type model numbers, serial numbers. They don't have to identify what kind of metering device is in it. They don't have to identify what kind of refrigerant's in it if it's retrofitted, because we're storing all that data in the cloud so that it's pre-populated in the MeasureQuick. And we charge for that. It's $5 per system per year. So when we open up a system, it's open for the entire year. And if you have a callback, there's no additional charge. If you go out for a fall PM, there's no additional charge. But we built it that way so you could just directly bill it to the consumer, to the homeowner, because the big benefit is to the homeowner. When we're storing that record for them, they get much better service in the future going forward, because we know how it's running now compared to how it was running when we commissioned it. We can, we don't spend a lot of time gathering information now to make an assessment, because when you know exactly what the pressure should be, the superheat should be, the subcooling should be, the exact design temperature differences, now the diagnostics become exponentially more accurate, because I can start to tell when things are going awry real easily. There's no guessing. There's no, it should be about this. We know exactly what it should be. So we store, that data in the cloud, and then make it faster for your techs to come back out in the future. If you got a younger entry-level tech, it's going to make them much better tech, because they're not guessing how that system should work. They're not adjusting. If you're doing manual S and you're selecting the airflow and you're going, okay, this system needs 350 CFM per ton, and this one needs 425. People aren't screwing with airflows because they think it should be 400 or think it should be something different. If you adjust the charge for line set length and lift, people know it's not going to be exactly 18 degrees of subcooling. It's going to be 22 degrees because the line set length and lift, just stuff like that. So that's how we monetize it. And then, like where you're at, Chris, we're going to be rolling out Title 24, our residential new construction and AOR add-on replacement. So we do like compliance testing.
Okay.
So when a tech comes out, you guys will be able to store the data in the cloud. And when a rater comes out, the rater will pull that data back down. And then the rater's just verifying your readings or what you benchmarked. And so they're not, there's no guessing for the rater now either. And then, so for compliance testing, that's another thing that we're going to be doing. And it's just the qubits are just a way of somebody buying prepaid services and also being able to share them with people at your office.
And that's a big thing. And I'll say too, the benchmarking, that's a huge thing. So, okay, I'm in California. We're the flex duct capital, I would say. I mean, we have flex duct everywhere, and airflow is never right. So we've got a commercial building. I've got a restaurant. That's what I do most of the time. And from startup, I don't care what the codes say and all this different stuff, the airflow is never right. Okay. And let's just say the customer doesn't want to fix it, because a lot of times they don't. Okay. It works. Their energy bill's a little bit higher, but I deal with a lot of corporate restaurants. So they don't really see that. They're just like, it works, just leave it be. The benchmarking, where I really dig that is because from that point forward, I don't have to try to figure out the airflow problem every single time. If I benchmark it and I know that this is where it was and this is how it's been operating since day one, then I know that I'm not trying to solve some issue. This has been the issue since day one, and this is how this system operates. Right. And that's where I'm always preaching the benchmarking, because I take over a restaurant chain, right? Whatever restaurant, and I go out there and it's like, okay, this thing, I have ductwork problems everywhere, airflow problems everywhere, and they're not going to fix them. They're not going to spend tens of thousands of dollars to redo ductwork and to do all this different stuff. So every time I go out there and one of my guys puts on his gauges and he says, let's just say it calls for, whatever superheat, whatever subcooling, it's not there. Well, this is why, from day one. So that's where benchmarking is huge. And I preach that all the time. When we do a commission, or when we commission equipment, we need to benchmark it. So that way we know, okay, it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. This is our baseline. So we're never trying to solve these weird unknown problems.
Right. And once you benchmark it, it sort of locks it in, and we're saying, okay, this is the airflow you should expect. So it makes a big difference when you're doing it, troubleshooting and diagnostics and things like that.
Definitely.
And the other thing is just with the cloud, we can do remote data streaming. So I think that's probably one of my favorite features when it comes to doing either supporting a technician, just like now you guys just got home from work, you're sitting down having a beer, and some young guy calls you and says, hey man, what's going on with this system? And you're like, okay, well, what's your suction pressure? What's your suction line temperature? Because that guy can't calculate superheat. So you're not going to ask him what his superheat is.
Right.
You're going to ask him what his readings are so you can do the calculations for him and tell them, okay, here's what you want to do. Well, now with remote data streaming, you can just literally see what they see in the field remotely. So if you're, especially if you got installation crews where the installers they're not seasoned technicians yet, you can have, at the end of a job, have them stream the data, and then when they see that, when you get a chance to see it before they have callbacks, on new installations.
Can you also live view, have a live feed on their camera as you're viewing that live stream of data?
Yeah, you can do voice, video, and text. If you're using like FaceTime or something, you can definitely, you can actually run, like on an iPad, you can open up two apps, split screen. So you can have the MeasureQuick on one half the screen and FaceTime on the other half. And, have voice, video, text, and you have complete control of the data. The tech has complete control of the data, so you can see what they see. And it really makes it quite handy to do that. And the other thing we rolled out just recently was we actually have a MeasureQuick service, which is a shortened version of MeasureQuick to really get the job done quickly. So it cuts out a lot of the data we might collect at an install that we don't necessarily need to get on service, like line set length, line set size. But what it also does is it runs pass-fail tests for all of the subsystems. So when you think about like electrical system, your duct system, your air filtration system, your condensate drain system, your condenser, condition of the evaporator, your capacity, power factors, all this kind of stuff. When you run that report, it does pass fails for everything. So it's like literally running a scan, and we do the diagnostics for you, and then it comes up on the report pass fail, and which is really handy with working with consumers. So now you can say, okay, Mrs. Jones ran a scan of your system. Here's the things that are wrong. And, it's like a third party's doing that instead of the technician. It becomes a lot less of an opinion and a lot more of, just like you take your car and they put a scan tool and they say, hey, you got a bad O2 sensor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting back to benchmarks, there was a couple questions in the chat. Joe Shearer asked, when are you going to be able to have a benchmark for a 2-stage system?
Well, so you could right now. So we are getting ready we got a good start on multi-stage, and then we backed up and had a couple other projects going on. Multi-stage is right now. It's next on the project to do. We got multi-stage is one, and multi-superheats another. We've had one guy that's been asking for multi-superheat with MeasureQuick and iManifold. I think since we started MeasureQuick and iManifold.
Exactly what you're talking about too.
Yeah, and it's like I got to get that. I'm literally feel like sometimes I do features for one person, because on their job they could really use it. And there's other lurkers out there that they want those same features because they do the same kind of work. But we get these things and we want to get them done, and they just get bounced around and pushed back. I mean, when you're designing this kind of stuff. Everybody that looks at it goes, oh, if it only worked for geothermal, if it only worked for, multi-stage, if it only worked for this application or that application, it was like, and we got to figure out again, where can we generate some revenue at? So, like Emerson comes along and says, hey, we really want it to work with Sensi Predict and we're willing to pay you for it. So everything gets sort of derailed. We're going to do on the free side for a while. Where we work on projects that bring revenue in, so we can continue to support the free platform as well.
I think that's the disconnect too. I don't know how to get that out there to people to understand that what they get right now for MeasureQuick is amazing and it's free. Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, you can't keep doing that for free. You have to make money at some point.
Yeah, and we will with qubits. I'm sure. Yeah. Enough people like we have a contractor in your neck of the woods, Rayo Cook. I don't know if you know who they are. They're in California. They're probably Northern California.
Probably.
They are killing it with MeasureQuick. I mean, their profits are way up. Their system sales are way up. Callbacks are way down. There's a lot of good things happening. We've seen some customers with a 400% ROI in the first 4 months of using MeasureQuick, including the cost of all the tools that they had to buy for their technicians.
Wow.
Just in callback eliminations.
I could see that for sure in the residential side and even on the commercial side too, but the commercial side gets a little more complex, but for sure the residential side, hands down.
Yeah, we're just killing it on, and the reason we start out with residential is because the base is a lot broader and they need a lot more help, but the multi-circuit mode is on the way. That's, like I said, it's literally next, and I don't think it's going to be derailed. I just hired another programmer last week, and I hired another guy to help with us with technical support so that we can, accelerate the development again. There's just some projects we've been working on literally for years, and we work on it a little bit, gets derailed, we come back to it, and slowly they get wrapped up. And things like Testo, like when Testo gave us permission to use the 557 and the 550s, there's probably 20, 30, 40,000 of those manifolds in the market. Yeah. So for us, that's a good opportunity to broaden our user base. And every time we get more user base, then it's a potential to convert them over to qubit using customers, and then, and generate some more revenue for the company. So it's, it's chicken and egg stuff, it's like, it's challenging sometimes, but we have absolutely zero intention of taking anything out of MeasureQuick that people are using for free ever. I mean, what we have for free, it's going to remain for free, and there'll be more things added in that are still free in there, because it's about service in the industry. And if you have this great software out there and nobody uses it, what good is it?
What you could do is install some sort of game you could play like Candy Crush while you're waiting for the vacuum to drop down.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
See, after we came out with those damn True Blue hoses for AccuTools, that idea was shot. You can't even get through a cigarette. And
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Joe wasn't believing me. I tell him, multiple times a week, within like less than 10 minutes, I pulled down less than 100 microns, and he's like, "No, that doesn't happen." I'm like, "I'm telling you, all the time."
The first time we went out with Field Piece when they came out with that TES 8 pump, I went out and I did that video, with them, and I had AccuTools send me out the hoses. So I got everything hooked up, and it's the first time I really used it on a system. I'd used it on tanks and stuff in the office and done some testing, but the thing came down so fast that I thought something was wrong. I mean, it was literally in four minutes, we're down below 200 microns. And I tell the guys doing the videography, I'm like, just stop. This is not right. Something's wrong. I had to go, the guy from Jackson, go get a tank of nitrogen. I break the system with nitrogen. I'm looking at everything going, it's like a 150 foot of line set. So run R11 flush through. It's 4-ton coil.
Wow.
How the heck did this thing get down in 4 minutes down to 200 microns? And sure as shit, it was just that was just that fast. And it was mind boggling how much different those hoses made. And we did that one with Andrew Greaves. We did that 2,500 ton centrifugal chiller. They did either 4 or 6 days. I think it was 4 days they had to evacuate that chiller. We did it in 17 hours. We had it down to 300 microns. And they had 4 days to get it down to 500 microns and hold at 500. And we're down and done. And we don't even know what time we would have hit 500 microns because, we put it on overnight. We came back in the morning and it was down. 17 hours later, it was just down and done.
And wasn't there in that video, wasn't there a bit of a hiccup that you guys could have probably pulled it down even faster, but there was I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was a bit of a hiccup in that.
Well, what happened is so these chillers, when they're the York chillers, and they actually test run them at the factory. Mm-hmm. So they recover all the 134A out of them when they ship them, and then the residual refrigerant builds up. So initially when we started recovering this thing, it had a crap load of refrigerant. I mean, when you're talking a 2,500 ton machine, it might have had 100 pounds of gas and vapor
just stuck in the oil.
Yeah. So we started pulling it down, and how refrigerant responds to a vacuum gauge, and it hits the gauge, it makes the sensor read lower than it actually is. So at first we're thinking, holy cow, we are down in a really deep vacuum. But as the refrigerant came out, the refrigerant itself has less and less impact on the sensor. And so the vacuum started to rise. And so we're thinking, okay, what the heck's going on now? And so we broke it with nitrogen and then pulled it back down again. And then, we diluted the refrigerant enough that we could actually see that now we're making forward progress. Because initially we thought this thing's coming down like a rock. I mean, we're watching it, and you got to remember the 3 foot of hose on a True Blue hose has got a conduction speed of 64 CFM. And we got on that centrifugal chiller, we got this 8 CFM vacuum pump. And this thing's like, if you ever run a vacuum pump wide open, I mean, this thing's hogging air and refrigerant out of this machine. And we're watching the vacuum, drop like a rock. And all we're doing is pulling refrigerant towards the sensor. So it was like, this, we're all excited because we're thinking this is freaking incredible. And it still was incredible. I mean, but it was like, it sort of popped your bubble a little bit when you're standing there, because all of a sudden you realize what's happening. Mm-hmm. But once we understood what happened, it was like, okay, we all learned a lot in the process. And this goes back to, some of the old school guys, like my dad would use a mercury manometer to measure vacuum. A mercury manometer will never lie to you. Digital vacuum gauges are awesome. Digital meters are awesome. But some of this old school technology, like using a real roughing gauge, when you're doing evacuation, you really should use a roughing gauge to see what's going on the top end of the vacuum, because your vacuum gauge is not really accurate unless you're in a refrigerant-free environment.
Hey, real quick, Jim, on that chiller you guys were pulling down, where was the vacuum, your micron gauge at on that system? I don't remember.
All the way at the far. So we were pulling, our hose was hooked up to the bottom of the evaporator barrel, and the micron gauge was on the top of the condenser.
Oh, okay.
As far away as you could get from it. And then we had another micron gauge that was on the inlet to the vacuum pump. So we're like 100 microns at the pump and 300 microns at the condenser when we isolated the vacuum off.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey,
Yeah, I remember that video, and I remember talking to, I can't think of the guy, but that video.
Andrew Greaves.
Oh no, I know Andrew. Yeah, but I'm trying to think of the guy from Navac.
Well, that's Andrew Greaves now.
Yeah, or he lives out here in California with me, the main guy.
Steve Rutherford.
Steve. Yeah, I remember talking to Steve, and that video alone blew up the sales for that vacuum pump too. Yeah, that was insane. I mean, that was a huge. The potential has always been there, but I mean, those hoses just made it so much easier too.
In fact, we didn't have to do we did that pull down, and we didn't even do an oil change in the pump. So it was dry, obviously a dry system, but that thing does really good with managing moisture too, because it's got a 2-stage ballast on it for moisture removal. And then it's got an oil catch, so it captures the oil mist and then dumps it back in the pump, so you're not going to mist out all your oil, and you're not going to contaminate with moisture really easily. So that's a really nice pump. But when you look at the cost savings, you look at labor savings, and the fact we did that in one day, the whole system paid for itself in a one job, basically.
That's true.
That's insane. I mean, yeah.
Jim, real quick, there's Hoser HVAC has asked this question like 312 times since we've started talking about MeasureQuick charging money, and that he was saying if a company doesn't elect to do the $5 per customer per month basis
Per year.
or not per month, per year, I'm sorry, would you consider going to a monthly fee, a flat monthly fee for one single tech and not a company?
We looked at a lot of different ways of doing it, and we went back when I was at iManifold. We actually tried that, and we had just a dismal time monetizing it that way. And we were looking for a model, that would fit across the board for us, because a lot of our like Chris out in California, when we open up a project, he's got him that needs to work on it. The rater may need to work on it. And it's like, how can we open up a project and have multiple people tap into it? Same thing with the utilities, because they have a guy go out and do a pre-clean and pre-test, and they have a service tech go out and do the fix. It's just, we looked at a lot of different things, but that model just did not fit our business. And so we just, and people would complain. It's like they want to store the data in the cloud, but then they don't want to pay for services when winter hits or whatever. It's like, and so we just came up with, let's just do a flat fee. We'll store it indefinitely for them. But that's a big part of the reason we kept almost everything on MeasureQuick free too, is because the real benefits to the company and to the homeowner. And so we knew, like a lot of technicians, they can't, they can't just go out and buy services on an app and get reimbursed from the company. Like, I don't know if you guys remember Stephen Raridan.
Yeah.
Subscribed to MeasureQuick, or iManifold, back when he was a tech, and he paid for that stuff out of his own pocket because it was benefiting him personally. But he was like a rarity, of anybody that would ever do that. I mean, he was like maybe 1 in 1,000 technicians. So, we wanted to keep the things that benefit the tech and help them with diagnostics and help them with services free. And then the things that would really benefit the company, we wanted to be able to bill for.
Very nice.
I don't know. See, I would be totally okay with paying a little bit of a monthly fee. I mean, there's other apps that are a lot less useful to me that I pay a little bit of money for on a monthly basis.
Yeah, and we we could charge for MeasureQuick, but it's just, again, it's about servicing the industry,
Yeah.
and I know it sounds big-hearted or whatever, but it's just
You want to make the industry better.
I want to make the industry better for everybody, and it's like I said, if you have this great piece of software and nobody's using it, then what good is it? How does it benefit anybody?
Yeah.
So what we really need we got 30,000 techs that use this thing. What we need techs to do is take this to your boss and say, you guys we got to start using benchmarking. We got to start using remote data streaming. Here's how it's going to benefit you and your company, because they're the ones that are in the field that can actually point the direction to make this better for us and better for you guys too. Because I'm telling you, when you don't have to fat finger in data anymore, you can start a project from the cloud. It's awesome. It's like you just go out, deploy your probes. 7 minutes later, you got a diagnostic. You can generate the report, and you can be pretty much done with that job. And
So,
it's huge. It's a time saver.
Speaking of fat fingering data in there, I might have missed this, but you said the Testo 550s and the 557s are going to be connecting to MeasureQuick. When does that go into effect, or has it already?
I'm doing the final testing on it now. I can actually, if you want, I'll share my screen here. I'll show you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me see if I can figure this thing out again here. My entire screen.
Is that why you're in the classroom looking room tonight?
Oh, no, I just came to the office because it's got better internet access. And,
I got you.
And
we can see your screen now, Jim.
Yeah. So right now I've actually got a 557 in a toolbox. And what's cool with this, the Testo smart probes, they have a limitation of about 7-8 probes because you can't, because they're directly connected to the device. So the 557, I get at minimum 2 pressures, and then I can get 2 pressures and 2 temperatures in. And then what we did, this is almost like a huge upgrade for Testo in the fact that I have these 2 line temperature probes running on here now. So I'm measuring suction line and liquid line temperature wirelessly instead of using the wired probe connection. So all this stuff's up and running on here. So if you look at the UI for this, you can see we're pulling in all the readings, calculations, superheat, subcooling. These trend really nicely because you can see if you've used MeasureQuick, a lot of times you'll notice that some of the graphs don't have this really smooth resolution like this one. This is just a TXV that's modulating. And there's nothing, this is what you call hysteresis. This is the difference between the TXV's opening point and closing point. So it starts to close at 7 degrees of superheat. It starts to open back up at 8 degrees of superheat. So this is literally 1 degree of superheat. That's just, the difference between the valve's opening point and the closing point. And so it's not hunting and flooding because it's not going to 0 degrees of superheat. It's just modulating. And so, being able to see this stuff in real time is pretty cool. And it just makes the whole user experience a little bit better,
That's really awesome. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, see, I haven't used MeasureQuick a whole lot yet, just because I do have the Testo 550s, and I really didn't even like the Testo app that they have. I didn't explore it much, but I just didn't really like it. So I'm looking forward to the day that I can connect my 550s to this and get.
Yeah, it'll push out over the weekend. We're planning on pushing it out sometime over the weekend, so you can use it probably Monday at the latest. So
Monday it is. I got a cooler call to go to on Monday morning because I had to fake a seizure to get here on time today, so I got to go back there Monday.
Yeah, there you go.
It's true.
Yeah, so dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're always working on new stuff, to make just like this is a cool one here too. This is our vitals mode. We just sort of came out with a couple months ago, and I went out with to a property management company, and they have a bunch of guys that are literally landscapers one day, and then they get their CSC certification, and then they're service technicians the next day.
Oh yeah.
And none of them speak English. And so I'm trying to explain MeasureQuick, and I'm like, holy cow, this is just way too complicated. I'm never going to get it through to these guys. So I actually went back and we reprogrammed MeasureQuick into this vitals mode. So if you get these 6 readings in range, pretty much everything's going to be perfect. So this is all about, your low and your high pressure sort of drive your heat transfer rate. It can be, this will all swap around. So if you're using a piston, it's going to look at superheat. And then, subcooling goes to the bottom. So depending on how you configure this thing, it'll tie it all in. But in that green range is plus or minus 1 degree of subcooling, and then the outer range is plus or minus 3. Airflow calculations. But if all these things are in the right range, the system's, it's going to perform as well as could be expected. So And then it's got a quick charge that walks them through how to charge a system too.
Wow.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah, it really, really does. For all of us that have beginner technicians, and I mean, us business owners, we're all having to deal with that, hiring people that are less experienced than we'd like them to be. This definitely helps that a little bit.
So if I'm a beginner technician right now, I got MeasureQuick opened up. So I'm a beginner technician right now. And how exactly would I set this up to say, where'd Jim go?
Well, thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah, he had enough of us. He's like, yeah, okay, guys.
All right. I guess he didn't like my question that I was about to ask.
He's like, Bill's on asking later.
Huh. He's like, I know that guy's questions. They're stupid. I'm out of here. He probably had to jump into a live stream with Brian Orr. That's what happened.
That was absolutely.
There he is.
Yep. There's my fault.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Jim or Bill is always the best at the little commentary in between. So
yeah, I figured. Most of the time when I start asking questions, people are just like, "Nah, I can't."
I'm like, no, forget it, man. I'm out of here.
I got better people to talk to.
Well, I think this is the perfect time, Jim. This was awesome. This was really cool that you came on here. We're hoping that maybe we can bring you back sometime in the future. We're not looking for a commitment, but hopefully sometime soon we can bring you back, because we have just like I'm sure every time you go on someone's thing, we have a million questions.
I have 2 pages of questions here that I've been writing down from the chat that we haven't gotten to. So it would be awesome to come back, whenever you can would be great.
Yeah, I'd be glad to do it anytime. Yeah, I don't mind doing these. It's good to talk to everybody, and these are always fun to do, because we do have a lot of people that love the software and use it, and it's like it's good to hear back from people, and just so we can understand better what people want or what the next steps are. So
definitely.
When do you get to enjoy your home life then, Jim, if you're always working late and doing all these extra things?
So this is like my some people like to golf, some people like to make cars. I like to make software, and I like, heating and air conditioning. I don't know. It's just a hobby for me. So, I just happen to make a living at my hobby and enjoy it. Nice. And then the other thing I do is I suck my kids into it. So I get to see them during the day, and so my daughter Valerie works for me. My son works at TruTech Tools. I sold TruTech Tools, my interest in it years ago, but my son still works for him, and we work, next door. My daughter is a graphic artist, so she's helped us with like artwork and stuff for stuff we're doing, and so it's all good. I make it a sort of a family business, and then I work with a great group of guys too on the programming team, and I don't know. It's for me, it's just like I said, I eat, live, and breathe it. I have a lot of fun doing it. So.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but your son's name is Jim too, right?
Yeah, James. Yeah, he actually goes by James.
And that's why I had to do a double take when I got like a notice in a TruTech Tools box one time, and it says packaged by James Bergman, and I was like, wait,
James.
I was confused.
He got demoted.
Like, okay, then I figured it out. So
yeah. He gets it all the time. He gets thank you notes, and so
that's fun.
It's pretty funny.
Thank you very much, Jim. This was awesome. Really, really appreciate you guys coming in here. And,
yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd be glad to come again. Just shoot me sometimes if you ever want to chat again. I'd love to.
Heck yeah, we do.
Well, we almost forgot something. Right. Our number one fan.
Our number one fan. You gonna say thank you to him?
Yes.
Bill.
Luke,
Bill.
If you can hear me, bark twice. All right.
It's an inside joke, Jim.
Number one fan.
Right on.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up, guys.
All right.
See ya on the next one.
See you guys.
Wait, that's not how we say goodbye.
Thanks for coming,
Thanks
guys.
again, everybody. All right. See you guys next time.
it was one of those experiences where you're like, well, I want to bust in some questions, but also what he's talking about is like something I've never heard of before. I should probably listen.
Yeah, you know? yeah, I hear you. Adam, Scott made a question. I can't remember. Yam always kills me, that thing. Scott was asking, I'm getting a brain cramp when you set your probe to outside temperature, your field piece probe. Do you have to still input it, or does it automatically?
That is on my list of questions that you guys would not let me ask.
I can't remember for the life of me. Like I just used it. I can't remember if I put it in or I didn't. I know one time I had to put it in because I wasn't using it for outside air. I was using it for something else.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Yeah. I have not been paying for the subscription, but I am absolutely going to start paying for the subscription for at least bare minimum our new installs, right?
So
I hear you.
I have to ask this question. I have no idea. I've never used MeasureQuick before, honestly, because I don't have anything to connect to it, and I didn't really feel like putting in the data manually. So I'm looking at MeasureQuick right now. How do you even use this for like coolers and refrigeration systems? I guess mostly geared towards Chris, who's not listening.
Again, because I was typing. I can't do two things at once.
Well, go ahead.
You're not a like hostage negotiator or suicide hotline person.
I'm not. Don't put me on the spot. I'm an idiot, dude. People put me up too high on a pedestal. So what did you ask the question again?
So this MeasureQuick, right? I've never used it before for anything. How do you use this for like refrigeration? Because I'm looking at, I don't know if there's like a special.
Okay, so that's an easy one. So personally, MeasureQuick right now for refrigeration is in beta mode. So essentially what I use MeasureQuick for in refrigeration is data consolidation. So basically, if I hook up all my probes, let's say I'm working on a walk-in cooler, downstairs, I go downstairs, I hook up my suction temperature probe on the suction line. I hook up my suction pressure probe on the superheat port on the back of the evaporator coil.
Yeah.
I go upstairs, I hook up my liquid line port. I hook up a discharge line temperature clamp, liquid line temperature clamp, outdoor air temperature clamp. And at my fingertips is an analog gauge readout. Looks like I'm looking at a set of compound gauges, but then I can simply hit a button and I can scroll over and see what the system superheats at, what the subcooling's at, what the discharge line temperature's at. I can set I can set data. So like I can say that my evaporator should theoretically have a 10-degree evaporator coil TD difference between the suction line saturation temperature and the air temperature coming in. So it just basically consolidates all the information at your fingertips and allows you to diagnose easier. That's the way that I use MeasureQuick. Now, me personally, I don't use, and I'm not trying to brag, but I don't use diagnostics when it comes to air conditioning either.
You're definitely trying to brag.
I just like to see everything in one place.
Big
and be
picture.
Able to look at it and say,
big picture. Hey.
Big picture. Right there. There you go. Adam, I will send you the bill for that because I don't make any money from the show. So therefore, send you a bill for $500.
I just got the statement for this month and we made 4 cents. And I'm just wondering if YouTube is going to send a check for that or how that gets paid out. Because I could take one of those big like Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore checks. I could do one of those if they want, you know.
Well, I just want to know what's my cut of that 4 cents.
Well,
send me a check for that.
You know,
25.
Yeah, Yamo. We each get an equal share. Yamo gets like a third of a share.
Okay, well that's fine. I just want my fucking share. Hey, I want mine in Bitcoin too. So I don't care about any of that.
That's like 1 millionth
iTunes gift cards.
What'd you say, Bill?
I want mine in iTunes gift cards.
I just want Bitcoin, dude. You know what? No, let's make it even. I want an Experium or whatever that other weird Bitcoin thing is.
No, it's
Adam, ask Chris for Scott that question because I'm getting a brain cramp. I know I had to put it in, but that's because it wasn't selected. But now I want to know if Chris knows.
Ask Chris for Scott. If you input temperature, what that question? If you input
the one that we were talking about, like about outdoor temperature.
That one I was selecting.
What?
Sorry?
Outdoor temperature, outdoor ambient. Is that what you're saying?
No, I saw this question from Scott too, and I'm a little confused on that too. So in the MeasureQuick app, it will auto-populate your atmospheric conditions based on your location. So if you have again, I'm talking out of my ass right now, but if I understand things correctly, if you have location and everything turned on your phone, it'll automatically populate atmospheric conditions for the area that you're in. But then yet you still have to enter the outdoor ambient temperature
Yes.
Thank God we're explaining how to use it after Jim Bergman leaves.
But okay, we could ask Jim this question on the next one. But the one thing I will say is atmospheric conditions will change the barometric pressure. The barometric pressure will change the
point.
The what?
It'll affect everything.
Yeah, but your atmospheric conditions, basically your gauges won't be zeroed. Like everything will change depending on atmospheric conditions. So again, we need to ask Jim that question, but I do understand what Scott is asking because
that's on
I've
my
seen
list.
it in the app before too.
It's on my list.
But we'll definitely ask Jim that the next time. But I have a feeling it has a lot to do with the atmospheric zero on your gauges, which I believe atmospheric, again, I could be talking out of my ass right now, but atmospheric zero is like 14 point blah, 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 blah at sea level.
379.
Right. But as you go up, depending on your location, that atmospheric zero might.
Like Colorado. We'll go there.
Yeah. The 0 point of your gauge. So I think that might zero out the scale. Again, guys, I am literally talking out of my ass right now. So
this is where you're supposed to say, "Hey guys, send me an email on this one, and I'll look at it and I'll send it back to you."
It's on my show, and then I'll never answer the email. Hey, on a side note, I need someone to start answering emails for me because the fucking things are backing up like no tomorrow. There's so many emails, and I'm like, I remember Andrew Greaves saying it one time, and he was like, dude, he's like, I got like fucking 700 emails, and I just can't even get to them. And I remember thinking, like, how the hell do you have so many emails? I'm at that point now. I'm like, how do I even get to these emails? Like,
just send them a heart emoji.
Well, what I did was I gave out. So in my videos, I thought, hey, you know what? I'm just going to make a new email address, right? But now I have 700 on one email address and 700 on
That's like gambling. That's like debt.
Yeah.
Open another credit card.
That's the way you look at it. It's
you know what you should you got to tell them to do. I don't have enough time to answer this question on this tonight's show, so go hang out with the Overtime guys on Friday night, and we'll address the topic then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? Just to fuck with you, Adam, is I'm going to change the email for questions to HVACOvertime@gmail.com. The next video that I release, I'm going to change the email to HVAC.
All that is going to do is the people that are waiting 3 months for their T-shirts and mugs and that, it's going to take a year now because I'm going to have to go through all these freaking emails because
it's true.
Yeah, they get the shirts going to be out of style and they're going to be too fat and.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, I'm caught up. I got to give props. I'm going to give public props to my wife, right? Because Adam and I joke that I have this perfect life, but I don't. Okay. But anyways, I'm going to give props to my wife because all the shirts that you guys have received and all the hats and everything, my wife has been the person to ship them all out. We're all caught up. We're caught up and problem solved, but that's because I have her to help me. So it's her that's doing it all.
Maybe your wife could talk to my wife.
Yeah, let's get into the subject of our wives now.
Yeah.
This is where the podcast starts.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Are we live still?
Yeah.
I think we're live still. Hey, guys, I was thinking
of swear words I need
what
to.
What were you thinking, Joe?
Tonight.
Yeah. I was thinking that we're talking about hats and shirts. I was wondering if you guys want to do a giveaway of one of these amazing hats we have.
Oh, what's his name? We were going to have Bergman give one away.
What?
Oh,
that's what Chris was saying, or Bill, or one of these freaking.
No, I was saying do it.
I didn't say
after.
Okay, so within to give context to our craziness right now, so we have a private chat because we use StreamYard as our streaming service. So we have a private chat in StreamYard, and usually we're talking shit on the commenters. We're just in here talking like this guy's a fucking idiot, and this guy's asking the stupidest questions in the world. We're not, but anyways, no. I was saying to let Jim go from the show, and then we'll wrap up the show with the last 5 minutes of giving.
Oh, so you were trying to get him off the show. So he's driving home right now. He's driving home right now, and he's clicking YouTube to see how he looked on the show, and he's like, "These MFers are still live. What did they just do? They pulled the old switcheroo on me."
Save Jim because I felt bad. So
yeah, we don't want to go through all that giveaway bullshit. You don't care.
Yeah, true.
Before the show starts, we're typically on live with the guest for 45 minutes before the show, just kind of saying, "Hey, what's the off-topic questions? What can we not talk about? All this different stuff." And to give Jim credit, he basically told us there's nothing you can't talk about. He was the book.
I wish I would have been here for that conversation because I would have had like a bunch of stuff to ask him that I probably.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you don't prioritize work with a fucking fun show, Bill.
I didn't really lie, but let me give you a little bit of context on why I wasn't here. It's had this 8-foot evaporator coil that's just frozen solid in this pharmacy place, right? And the manager, who reminded me he was like a twin of Rick Moranis, right? And a little 4'9" guy.
Seymour, feed me.
That's the one, Rick Moranis.
Does anybody else get that reference right there? Does anybody else get
Little Shop of Horrors?
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ruin your entire thing right now, Bill. And I'm going to tell you something. That Little Shop of Horrors, I'm going to give you an insight to my childhood. So Little Shop of Horrors, someone in my family, a family, not in my immediate family, but someone had taken Little Shop of Horrors and they videotaped Little Shop of Horrors over a porn.
Little Shop of Horrors? What?
Yeah, Little Shop of Horrors was a TV show. Or it was a movie, right? So as a 13-year-old, I put in Little Shop of Horrors, and then I realized, holy shit, there's a porn on here. So I watched Little Shop of Horrors a lot as a teen.
Interesting.
But it wasn't Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, it was a different Shop of Horrors.
So now that I sidetracked your whole entire thing, Bill, go ahead and continue on with what you were talking about.
So anyway, I was talking to Rick Moranis, and I'm like, listen, dude, you won't let me run a hose up here to clear this evaporator. And I got my little pump sprayer. I spent an hour like melting a 4-inch block of ice. And I'm like, I'm getting nowhere here, bud. And I got Jim Bergman to go talk to us. So I'm getting that. And then I did one of those pump fake moves where I pretended to jump at him. He like fell down a little bit. I'm like, that's right, bitch. I'm leaving. And then I'm gone.
Nice.
I didn't say that really, but
you thought it.
I got to say, too, Adam, on another note, again, sidetracking, stepping all over Bill right now. Adam, when I got the package in the mail that had that overtime mask, I swear I picked it. I asked my wife, I go, what the fuck did he send me underwear for? For some reason, when I picked that up, I thought it was a pair of underwear at first.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? Oh, it's a mask. Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, if you get the skinniest little legs ever, you can try to wear it.
We're actually going to start making women's boy shorts so you can give them to your wives.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Yep. So whenever you're looking at your wife's booty, it will say HVAC Overtime.
Chris is used to putting undies on his mouth. Remember, he did something on Instagram. What was that for, Chris?
Oh, I did. When my wife and my daughter were making masks right in the beginning.
That's what it was.
I know. I went and grabbed a pair of chonies from my drawer and cut I cut them so they fit around my ears, and then I ate a taco through the pee-pee hole of the chonies.
Awesome.
That was on Instagram.
All right.
Yeah, go look up the Instagram feed. It's on there right now. That actually got a lot of views.
And see, we hired Chris because we thought he was a professional.
Wait. Define hired.
Did you hear that? Did you hear hired, Chris? I love it.
That's awesome. Well, the thing is, Chris is like, I'm not actually part of the show. Dude, you are in the intro. You are part of the show, bro.
Yeah, this guy's trying to bird it off. Hey, these guys asked me to come on. Yeah, get out of here.
Like, for instance, last week when I had friends over and I'm like, guys, I can't make it to the show. I prioritize friends, like real in-person friends over my fake internet friends. And
we're much better friends.
Yeah, we're still good.
Hey, how many times has your in-person friends sent you $100 on YouTube for talking about the same clearing a sight glass for 400 times in a row?
I believe, and Ted, you're still in here. I believe between Adam and Ted, there was like fucking $2,000 or something.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think everybody could vouch.
And then it's funny though too, because then Ted is nice, but he's a funny guy, and he goes, Chris, you realize this isn't about you, right? And then the fucking kept going.
Hold on, don't hang up. We have a caller. We're trying to give something away too. Is somebody on the phone?
No, this never goes well.
Hello? Didn't work.
Guess it's
Scott. It's gonna be Scott.
What happened?
It's not Scott. It's
glass boner.
It's not working. Wait.
Glass something.
Or Scott.
Hold on.
It can't be Glass.
Hello?
Because he wasn't in chat today.
Something's not working properly.
He's probably mad because we didn't make him a mom.
I'm right here.
There it is. I'm turning the wrong.
I am here.
See? Okay. Wait, hold on. Let's bring the other one in. Hold on. Wait.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now we got two people on the air. Hello.
You got me? You hear me? I'm here.
Yeah. How you doing?
You have a furry taco for me? I'd like to, can you order me a furry taco?
Mm-hmm.
You are a furry taco. All right, so it is working now. Great.
So do you two know who you're talking to? Because I know who both of you are right now.
Well, I hope so. One's Adam and the other one's Joe.
Wait, I don't hear Chris. Chris is muted.
Nobody wants to hear him anyway.
The other one is Scott. Why can't I hear? Hold on.
I hear Rick. The other person that's not Rick, talk.
Now I can hear you guys.
Me?
Who's me? I'm still trying to figure out who it is. Whoever isn't Rick, talk.
Oh my God, you don't know who I am, Chris?
That's
Okay,
Scott.
Okay, that's
Chris, I'm the one that stole your beer today.
That's good. Hey, are we not? Is our video feed not live?
Oh,
It's not.
whoops.
Oh yeah,
It's because I put the.
I put the splash screen up.
Yeah, sorry. Hold on. What happened here?
Well, we have the phone number up.
It's because the phone. I put the phone number on, and I didn't reconfigure all the configurations.
Hey,
and
my man Ray's in here right now. Ray's a
there
good
you
man.
go. Sorry.
Losers.
Scott, your mask was sent out. Trust me, I told Adam, listen, you better tell Scott you sent it. He's gonna kill you.
Dude, I've sent everything out. Didn't you have a PO box?
Dude.
You had a PO box.
Yes, I have a PO box. That's why I'm like, I know for sure I would have got it if he would have mailed it.
I sent
All
it.
these people close their mouths.
All right, listen. I'll send another
I'm
one.
like one of the first people that won one.
I gotta go. I
All
gotta go.
Where the hell are you going?
I got real friends, like in-person friends that bleed and are.
Oh my God! I think I'm gonna.
I'm at my house right now, and
I want a hat. Can I get a hat out of this?
Yeah, hold
I
on.
think Shannon, you're right.
We gotta hang up with Chris.
Might be right.
Wait, is it Shannon?
Oh,
What?
No.
You said Shannon. Who's Shannon?
Oh no! In chat, he said he was upset that you're saying you're going, I believe, and he says Chris must go.
Yes.
Joe must stay.
Huh?
Oh,
The hashtags.
no, I'm not the person that's getting booted off the show.
Oh wow!
You can go.
all
With
right.
your friends in their tight pants and unicycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raiders.
Go eat
Go
avocados and
Wow.
have
go look at the big picture, and we'll talk to you next week.
diagnosis. All right,
All right.
you're all dead to me. It's
I'm
all
gonna
good.
look at my little pictures.
Screw
Hey,
you,
Chris.
Oh shoot.
Chris,
Rick.
I'm going to
Chris.
start my new app called Measure
Hey.
Slow, and I'm going to look at little pictures.
Hey, Bill. I'd love you trying to talk right now, Rick. Go ahead.
That's right,
Chris.
Susie.
Maybe
Measure
or
Slow.
Scott. Whoever was trying to talk to me, go ahead.
Is Rick on?
Let's go.
No.
Talk to him.
yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Just wait.
What's
I'm
going
gonna
on?
tell Chris Toodles.
Oh,
So he has to poop with his
you
real
need to talk
friends.
down to Bill so he feels me.
That's right. It's not complete.
I'm hearing some coronavirus coughs in there.
Yeah.
All right, for real though, I'm gonna go, guys. It was a
So
great
can I
show
trade
tonight. I really
the
appreciate
furry
you guys.
taco?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Bill.
Later, Chris. I want to trade the furry taco
I was
for a
just
hat.
about stepping on you.
Adios.
We got to
All
end
good.
this soon. So Chris, can you just go play with your tight jean friends?
Yeah, I'm gonna go play with my tight jeans friends. I'm gonna let you rearrange this setup right here.
Like Eagle said, you have a turtle head peeking
Hey,
out.
you know what? But hey, go become part of my Discord server, people. Come on.
Put the link in the
Come
chat.
be my friend.
So you shut this
Come on.
thing down.
Come become a part of my Discord server. Come on,
All
be my
right.
friends.
I thought you closed your Discord server, Chris.
Oh, see, you don't.
Yeah, you shut 'em all off.
You don't
You don't
follow my
watch the
social
show.
media, Scott.
He doesn't. Not only he doesn't follow your social media, he doesn't watch any of your live streams.
Apparently
obviously.
Well,
not,
no, he
because
said he said he
Discord
was
server is
last Monday.
relaunched,
You said you were
and-
thinking about going back into it.
Oh no, it's launched, man. It's ultimate. It's on.
He said open it.
I look like I have a
Is it
mustache.
the same as the last one?
It's like an '80s TV show right
I don't
now.
know. I have a bunch of moderators now, so I don't have to worry about it. I just go in like once a day. It's all good.
All right, can we give something
But is it
away?
the
What are
same
we?
one you had
All right,
before?
I'm gonna go. I gotta go. You
Can I
guys
get a
keep
damn
fucking-
hat?
I'll take
I'll take the damn hat. I'll take the
Alright.
hat.
Yes, go to my Discord.
All right.
If I don't get 500 followers from this stream, no,
I can
appreciate
pretty
you
much
guys.
promise
I'm
you, you're
I'm
not going to
click
get.
out. Peace.
All right.
See you guys later.
buddy.
Love you.
Adios.
Toodles.
Peace love.
All right. Now that we
like I was saying before, I'm more than willing to pay for the shipping if that's
Dude,
what the issue is.
listen, I sent it. If you email me, I'll tell you what address I sent it to. Everyone else that has had prizes has prizes.
I haven't gotten mine yet either.
Did somebody send his Cheerios?
I sent it to you, Bill. It might be to your PO box though.
Oh, did you? If it's in my PO box, I haven't checked that in like months.
I think it is because it was the address that I had saved that was addressed to Curious HVAC guy. So I think that was before you trusted me.
Yeah, before he trusted us, guys, he just gave us his PO box.
Yeah, I noticed when a certain Canadian sent me a hat. The damn truth, I was looking for that. And I'm like, I'm gonna stamp this mother effer.
You know what the return address said on the package I got from Joe? Canada. He loves being anonymous. The return address said Canada on it. Oh, no, it didn't make it to my house. Just throw it back over to Toronto, please.
Canada's so small, it's easy to find people there.
Put Tim Hortons. That's what you should have put.
Timmy's.
Just put Tim Hortons.
All right,
guys. Before we go, let's give away that hat for these guys.
Oh, hold on. Let me grab them because I don't know what sizes they are or anything. Let me go just
There's
look.
Extra large, guys. Extra large. What's it called? Stretch fit. What is that?
Flex fit.
Large, extra large, flex fit, and snapbacks, and they're from Lids, so they're good hats, man. I'm wearing one right now.
Okay.
So I don't need extra large. What you got from Canada?
Do you want a snapback, like an old school?
We have Lids in Canada.
Is that the flat?
Snapback.
Did you guys have them made in Canada? I'm just curious.
Yeah, they are.
Made in Canada, buddy.
So they smell a little syrupy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice, Bill. No, it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Vancouver.
All right.
Up. You know what I really want? I want a BigClive.com hat, but Big Clive.
He has, yeah. Sorry.
I don't know if he's releasing merch yet.
I want one too.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'll pay for the $500 shipping.
These are awesome, Rich. They're awesome.
All right, who wants a hat? Scott, we'll send you. Scott, we'll send you a hat too. Scott, you want it because you've been waiting 14 months for.
It's not coming from Canada, is it?
Look at that! You know, look at that! Look at that treatment you get. Wow.
All right, so what I'd like you to do.
I think Rick might need a hat too.
Just do me a favor and tell me your address right now, will you?
Yeah, okay. What's a PO box? Not like anyone could find me in my PO box.
No, email me. I'll send you another mask because I know you gave the other one to your girlfriend or wife or whatever. You know, you've been hounding me.
Maybe both.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Anyway,
It's okay. By the time I get the mask, COVID will be over anyway.
Just like that.
So
I appreciate that.
Rick, will you wear a snap fit hat or snapback or whatever the heck it's called?
Isn't that kind of the flat bill ones?
No. This is the flex fit. It's
Bill.
not flat bill. And
Bill, show them the back.
You can adjust in the back.
Yeah, the adjustments.
Yeah.
Show me a model.
I like those. Those are fine. I just don't like the flat ones.
Show them the hat.
No,
kind of
Bill,
like a ghetto hat.
Bill, turn around.
No.
Me?
No.
He'll turn around.
It's probably bald on the back.
See,
man,
there you go.
There you go.
That's old OG.
Oh, gee. This one's circle.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith is right here.
Yeah, we only have extra large because
Yeah, that's fine.
we're assuming all of our viewers are of extra large intelligence.
Yeah. Big heads.
Big heads,
Yeah.
little feet.
Tell me about it.
But Joe
But yeah,
said
how are we gonna give
that
one
one there
to the
also
chat?
extra large.
Rick, what's that?
Huh?
What's that, Rick?
I'm
modeling the snapback for you.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah,
Can I get one of the
Why don't you
big
say something? Have some chat etiquette.
I'll email you.
Stop talking.
Oh, geez.
All right, we've gone a half hour over. Rick, will you accept? Will you wear a snapback hat? Yes or no? Circle one, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You better wear it, Rick. You better wear it.
Scott, do you have a big
I'll
head?
even put it in the damn video for you.
Awesome.
Woo!
I'll put it in the video.
Nice hat,
Can I have
man.
the flex fit?
I've showed you stickers.
Yep.
I showed your stickers in a couple of the videos.
You did, buddy. Yes, you did.
See
You're
that.
awesome. We love you, buddy. We love you.
Yep.
We love you both.
Next live stream, Rick.
Yeah, good question.
Ricky.
What's that?
Is there a delay?
Ricky
Yes,
Bobby.
Billy.
Oh, there you are.
What, Billy?
Where did I do next
Billy?
live stream?
Oh, Billy.
Rick,
I know. I
what
gotta
you
pick a different
You gotta
day.
pay your
I don't
bill
like
because
Saturday.
you're cutting out big time.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, it's
know.
like I put you on free speakers. That make it any different there?
Yes.
Any better that way?
Oh my god.
Okay. Well, I was letting the wife listen to it because the video's kind of like 30 minutes behind.
What's going on now?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, I need to pick a different day. Saturday kind of sucks. You got things you got going on. It just is a bad time to do it. Plus, I've been riding the motorcycle a lot.
You should do it on Monday.
I'm thinking about trying to do
Nothing's going on Monday.
Shit going on Mondays, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably about 9 o'clock my time. Yeah.
Oh, man. Imagine
about
that.
the same amount of
You know
viewers.
what you should do? Honestly, hey, Rick, let's keep it a secret. Go live at 9 o'clock on Monday, dude. 9 o'clock is California time, guys.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
I'll have 5 people. Yeah.
And then just get off. Go on, and you know for sure, right? And he's gonna see that pop up on his screen. Rick's going live? What the hell?
Saturday's cool with me. I ain't got
Yeah,
a
be
life.
like, what a cocksucker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
Hard block.
If you make it
Right.
late, like,
Do it 10 minutes in advance and get something really good going on.
Oh yeah.
That might be all
Where's
good.
my damn camera doing that?
All right. So, Scott, do you have an extra large head or what?
Yes, I do.
All right.
I knew it.
Too many brains.
All right. Cool.
I just don't know.
Yeah,
how to use
you're all
them.
out of focus.
Are we done here?
I don't know what's going on.
All right, toodle noodles.
All right.
Live stream.
Toodles.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Take care.
Okay, guys. See ya. We're gonna do a chat giveaway now.
Does Rick sound depressed to you guys? He sounds real depressed.
I think because we told him to have some chat.
I am
etiquette 'cause he was
depressed,
cutting
Billy.
out.
He's still on the air. You could ask him.
I think it's because he needs
I'm
to
here,
do a
Billy.
live stream on Saturdays.
Yeah, maybe.
You want to give on? I can start here in a couple minutes, I suppose.
10 o'clock on Saturdays because I got nothing to do at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know why you don't like Saturdays.
I was thinking
I
about.
don't know. 'Cause usually I'm in the middle of doing something.
Let's do a We Are the World of HVAC streams on Saturday. We'll get everyone. Right.
And we'll
I
see.
probably would do it if I had 5 or 6 people to hang out with me. It just kind of sucks when it's by yourself.
Oh my!
We Are the World.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's true.
Joe's camera
God.
is so bad right now.
I wouldn't be
What?
here.
That's a Canadian camera.
Yeah.
Peter, what do you mean?
Canadian camera.
They send the
Is it the
yeah.
camera?
They send the second
That's
to
making me
Canada. Canada.
Mm,
Canada
must
gets
be.
the
So you're
second.
unhappy?
Joe's camera is actually a burner phone.
Well, you
Adam.
got poor
Bill.
Waldo down there, man, burning a big one. He's in a haze.
Woohoo!
Well, you know it's bad if you could see
Smoke
Yamo
the
and not
Mickey
Joe.
Gun. Anyways, guys, how
Yeah, he's
are we going
burning
to
the
give this
big
thing
one.
away?
How do you want to give it away? Just pick somebody for God's sakes. I want to go to
I'm not gonna
bed.
just.
We've been teasing
I'm
it
not-
for 5 minutes.
I know. I know, guys. How do you think we should do it?
Boom, you get a hat. You
Ask
get
him a
a hat.
question. Ask him a question.
Everyone gets
you
a
get
hat.
You get a hat.
All this stuff just grows on trees, eh?
Yeah.
Everybody in the audience, look underneath your chairs.
Hey.
You all get.
I got an idea.
Bill G-
People,
generous.
if someone in the chat can tell us what did I win on the first episode of HVAC Overtime,
Good one.
you win,
There you
you
go.
win a hat.
Boom.
Good
Nice
one.
Yamo.
I get.
American Challenge.
I got to find my chat. How do I even look at
I
that?
can't even remember.
I don't even know what that is.
He won something
think I
good.
Hey, Big Clive says your hand is perfectly in focus, Joe.
How about now?
Just your face isn't.
Does anyone know what Yamo
It's
won?
better, but yeah.
Yeah. It looks like you're trying to hide out from somebody because we can't
Right.
really make out your face, like it's pixelated.
I think Susie
Really?
won. Was the first thing you won a recovery machine?
Yeah, a recovery machine, and what else?
I think Hoser's gonna get one too if he's right.
Great American Challenge.
Wait, you can only have one winner, right?
Big
Make it 2.
How many hats did you send me? I didn't count them. How many are in there?
You got enough.
All right, go ahead. So
I think Hoser, I'm just gonna make the other batch and give him one because it's easier instead of sending it back.
You might as well just have them come pick it up from your house because it'll. Well, no, you send it out pretty fast, Joe. I got mine.
There you go.
So here,
a green card. Come on. No, it's not a green card. I want 2 things.
Sombrero, yeah, good point.
Mm-hmm.
A recovery machine and
the Great American Challenge.
What do you wait for? Say it, Yamo. What is it?
a recovery machine and a brand new recovery tank.
Boom.
Okay.
Well, it's not brand new right now, but it was brand new.
It was at the
What'd you
time.
fill it with? Tequila?
R22.
All right.
Burn-up compressor.
Can I tell a real quick story about Yama winning prizes? Since we have like half the audience and nobody's watching anymore.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Once upon a time, Yamo called in to HVAC Shop Talk for the skilled trade up.
I remember that.
Oh yeah.
And there were 5 levels of the skilled trade up.
Wait, hold on. 2 big announcements from Jim today, and now Adam. So go ahead.
This is a controversy right now. I just want to put this out there because it's been eating me away for a while. All right. Actually, I feel like this is half the reason we got kicked off of Shop Talk. Let's be honest. But anyways, so Yamo called in and I'm watching it live. I'm sitting there. I think I got a beer in my hand. I'm just like chilling and watching it. And I hear Yamo calling in and I'm like, oh, so I get on my phone and I start texting Yamo right away. And there's like a 5-second lag or something like that. So it was like question number 1, what is R22 or something? And it was like, and I would like, it would wait like 5 seconds and Yamo would be on the screen and he'd be like, I think it's B. And then Zach would be like, is that your final answer? And then he would be like, no, it's C. It's definitely C. And I would text him the right answer. And we got through all the way to level 5. And Zach was like, I'll be damned. Nobody has ever made it to level 5, Yamo. You just won the grand prize. He's like, Yamo, you don't have a recovery machine, but you won the skilled trade up, the max grand prize.
Oh man, it was jokes. We told him he was fine.
He was not happy. He was not happy at first. He calmed down, but he was not happy. And I paid him. I did pay him for the prize. I sent Zach money. In disclaimer, I sent him money. I thought it was a joke, and I was always planning on sending him money for it.
You gotta have fun, man. You gotta have fun, dude.
Yeah, that's the rumor.
So that was my story. That's
all right,
why,
guys. On that note, I think we could go now. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's why we got kicked off of Shop Talk.
I want to put a big blood comment real quick.
Go ahead.
You guys busted my balls when I played, but then you give Yamo all the answers. What's up with that?
That was not on Overtime. That was on Shop Talk. And my whole point was I was messing with Zach. But I thought Zach would find it funny because I literally PayPal'd him the money.
I was on Shop Talk. That's what I was talking about.
Well, I had no control over you on Shop Talk. That's all Zach. Sorry. I didn't have your phone number to text you the answers anyway, you know? That's why I think I put Shop Talk out of business as far as the skilled trade up. The grand prize that was sitting on
with just those questions.
Yeah.
I wondered for so long why we got fired.
That was it.
We did not get fired. I hate that word.
So now on my resume, I can put, even though we got fired, here's the reason why. Because we cheated on a game show.
You know what? Let's go with that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Guys.
What are you going to do, you know?
Should I, are we just going to end this or should I actually, do you want to hear music again? I like the music. We only hear it once a week or twice a week. So
I like that bluesy music you were playing the one day.
I don't have it set up for an outro though. So Sorry.
Oh, that's stupid.
It was a recovery machine and cylinder.
Wait, you got to give somebody in the chat, Joe. That was the point.
No, we did.
Who'd you give it to?
We gave it to Susie and Hoser.
All right, Susie and Hoser, email hvacOvertime@gmail.com. And yeah, that is all.
You guys are lucky.
Skilled Trade Up was the bomb. I'd had a lot of fun watching that show, I got to say, for a long time. On that note, I'll see you on the next one. Well, now that we're all clean, guys.
Now everybody knows.